In this video, let's discuss the use of variables in an eSIM profile. What you eventually need is probably not a single profile with all values hard-coded in the profile. You need a profile template which contains variables at all places for which you need to be able to flexibly fill in different values later on. This is, for example, in the areas of different users and devices which require different eSIM numbers and ICCIDs, or different brands for which you want to fill in different service provider names. Could also be different keys and credentials to connect to a commercial network, or different countries which require different language indicators. Filling in these values later on is called the personalization step, leading to a so-called personalized profile. You may want to do this at the end of the editing step within your editing tool to generate a profile which you can immediately use. Or you may want to leave it to a later operational process. Let's look at how variables can be used in a profile. As an example, I loaded one of the GSMA test profiles into the EUICC profile creator tool. To deal with variables, I click on the variable editor button on the top here. Let's add a variable into the profile for the ICCID number, which we find here. I drag the ICCID value into the window and define the variable name ICCID. In return, I drag the variable and drop it into the profile. Now I have defined a variable and also assigned at least one default value for it. In the same way, I can do this for other values like the IMSI or the language indicator. Saving this profile with the variables, so the profile template, I have now different options what I can do. I can save just the variables so that I can use the same in other profiles. That's what I can do here with the export. And this only saves the variable definition with the values. Or I export the profile for which I have two options, which I do here. First option is I save the profile with the variables for later personalization. I can do this in the ASIM1 or in the hexadecimal DER format. Or I substitute the variables with the default values during the export step, therefore creating a personalized profile. Pressing on the OK button would then save the profile. Using variables is a very powerful methodology to create and maintain a family of profiles by creating parameterized templates. Although the representation of variables in the ASIM1 and in the DR format is not standardized, there is a kind of common way to use them and to declare them with something which indicates the start of a variable, like a rectangular or rounded bracket, and the end of the variable. To simplify the use of the template in the next step, in the personalization step by another system, you have the flexibility to define the representation as you like. This you can do by clicking on the settings button and defining the variable format here, where I can, for example, exchange the rectangular brackets by rounded brackets. That's it. That's what I wanted to show. Now you have seen how to deal with variables in a profile template.